In the world of technology, you've got these two massive, powerful ideas that are constantly bumping up against each other. On one hand, you have the drive to protect and control a new invention. On the other, you have this incredible spirit of sharing and building things together in the open. So what happens when these two worlds collide? Well, today, we're going to dive right into the legal principle that sits at the very center of that clash.
Okay, so to really get this, let's frame the core tension here. Over on one side, you have patents. Think of them as giving an inventor the exclusive right to control their creation. It's all about exclusion. But then, on the other side, you have the open source world, which is built on the complete opposite idea, the freedom to share, to tweak things, and to collaborate with anyone. They seem like two totally different universes, don't they? Let's see what happens when they actually meet.
All right, let's start with the world of patents. To really understand how it operates, we need to get our heads around a really fundamental rule of the road. It's often called the first sale rule, but the legal term for it is patent exhaustion. At its core, this idea is actually pretty simple. Once a company that holds a patent sells its product, let's say it's a very specific microchip, their control over that specific chip is pretty much gone. Poof. They can't come back later and tell the buyer who they can resell it to, or how they can use it, or if they decide to repair it. Their patent rights for that particular item are, well, literally exhausted. You can really break this whole process down into 3 simple steps. First, a patented product is sold, and the keyword there is authorized. It has to be a legit sale from the patent holder or someone they've allowed. Second, bam, the patent holder's control over that physical item is gone. And finally, the new owner is now free to use, resell, or even repair that product however they want.
And this isn't just a local rule. Oh no, this thing has huge global implications. There was a landmark Supreme Court case involving, of all things, Lexmark printer cartridges, and it made this crystal clear. If a patented product is sold anywhere in the world, the U.S. patent rights on that item are exhausted. So a chip sold in Taiwan can be legally imported and resold in the U.S. without issue. For any company with a global supply chain, that is a massive deal.
Okay, so let's switch gears completely. Let's jump into that second world, the world of open source. This place is built on a totally different set of values, things like community, collaboration, and building on each other's progress. Now, in the open source universe, you've really got 2 main philosophies when it comes to licenses. You have what are called permissive licenses, like the MIT and Apache 2.0 licenses. They're super flexible. They basically say, hey, take our code, do whatever you want with it. You can even put it in your own closed source product. Just, give us a little credit. But then you have copyleft licenses, like the GPL. These are all about keeping software free forever. They require that if you build something new using this code, you have to share your new creation under the exact same open terms. It's a pay-it-forward kind of deal.
So, we have the closed-off, controlled world of patents and the wide-open, collaborative world of open source. We get their rules. Now for the main event. What actually happens when these two powerful forces collide? This is where it gets really interesting. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's something that so many developers and tech companies have to wrestle with. If I go out and buy a piece of hardware and it's covered by a dozen patents, can I legally write open source software that uses it and then share my work with the world without getting a nasty letter from a lawyer? And here is the answer. Patent exhaustion is basically the legal bridge that connects these two worlds. Because those patent rights were exhausted when the component was sold, a developer can, in fact, legally build that part into a bigger system. Even a system that runs entirely on open source software without infringing on that original patent. But, and this is a really important but, it's not a complete free-for-all. An open source license is not some magical shield that makes you immune to all patent claims. In fact, some of the smartest licenses, like Apache 2.0, were built with this exact problem in mind. They have explicit patent clauses that are pretty clever. They essentially say, if you use our code and then you sue someone over a patent related to this software, you immediately lose your license to use it. It's a defensive move, a way to keep everyone honest. And get this, if you hold a patent and you decide to contribute your technology to an open source project, you could be triggering exhaustion on your own patent, meaning you can't turn around later and sue people for using that thing you contributed.
Okay, I know that was a lot of legal talk, but let's bring this all back down to earth. Why does any of this actually matter to you? Whether you're an innovator, a founder, or running a business.
It matters because understanding this stuff unlocks real, tangible business opportunities. It's what allows parts and components to flow freely through our complex global supply chains. It's the legal backbone of the entire aftermarket industry. Repair, refurbishment, all of that. It drastically reduces the risk of getting sued by some company way up your supply chain.
And at the end of the day, it creates trust and predictability, which is the foundation of any good business deal. So what do you do with this knowledge? How do you turn it into a real strategy? Well, the key is being proactive. First, you absolutely have to do thorough IP audits. You need to know what code you're using and what patents might be involved. Second, read your supplier contracts carefully. Look for any weird language that tries to add restrictions after the sale because those might not even be legally enforceable. And finally, if you're the one with the patent, you've got a huge strategic decision to make. Do you sell your product, which exhausts your rights, or do you license it, which lets you maintain more control? That single choice can shape your entire business model and give you a serious competitive advantage. So, we'll leave you with this one final thought. The line between a closed proprietary product and an open, collaborative project is getting blurrier every single day. Patent exhaustion gives us a kind of rulebook for how these two worlds can coexist and interact. But as they continue to blend and merge, it forces us all to ask a much, much bigger question. In this new landscape, who truly owns innovation? What does ownership of an idea even mean anymore?